Thank you, Jamie. That was really nice. And Jamie's been, a role model for me in my organizing days, and now that I'm up here as well. I definitely want to recognize Representative David Bennett, who's the Vice Chair of the Environment Committee and another real and I know that Representative Lauren Carson was here as well, who's been doing such phenomenal work to elevate the issue of climate change in her community, in Newport as well as across the state. Most of all, though, I want to thank everyone who's here today for all of the work that you put in to fight to protect our environment and to push all of us in this building to recognize and take action on the climate catastrophe that is hurtling towards us every day. I particularly want to just draw attention to the folks here who you can see are wearing some of the gear that we're going to need across vast tracts of our state in coming decades. We know that CRMC continues to increase their projections for sea level rise by the end of the century. I think that's going to continue going up. And we also know that for every foot that the ocean rises, that translates to a great deal more than that in risk for storm and flooding events. It's widely agreed by a lot of scientists. In coming decades, we could be seeing 100-year storm and flood events as frequently as every 3 years. There's going to be a lot less state in the ocean state. And so it's not a joke that folks are here, with goggles and life vests and snorkels. It's going to be our reality if we don't take some big change fast to transition to the 100% clean energy economy that we need. It's just phenomenal to me that given the stakes of this issue, from whatever lens you want to look at it, from an economic lens, from a public safety lens, from a moral lens, this should be the top priority for everyone in this building. And we know that the reality is that it is not. And that is why it's so important that all of you continue raising your voices, putting in work to hold us accountable, to force us to take action on these incredibly important issues. I just want to put on your radar a couple of the legislative priorities that I've been working on. I, as Chairman Handy mentioned, been working with the Energize Rhode Island Coalition to introduce the Energize Rhode Island Act, which would establish a state-level carbon pricing policy here in Rhode Island. The economic analysis from regional economic models found that this policy would significantly reduce our emissions, would take us a long portion of the way to meeting our emissions reduction goals under the Resilient Rhode Island Act. At the same time as giving a huge boost to our economy. We know that every megawatt that we can transition from out-of-state imported fossil fuels, whether it's oil, whether it's fracked gas, which we do not need any more of, or otherwise. Every megawatt that we can transition to in-state, local renewable energy production, energy efficiency means more dollars circulating in our local economy, going to Rhode Island workers, going to Rhode Island businesses. It's a win-win, and I hope that we can count on your help in continuing to elevate this policy as an important part of the climate action puzzle going forward. I've also been working with a number of folks, including Chairman Handy, on an ambitious expansion of our virtual net metering program. The reality is we need to get to scale when it comes to energy diversification, and we need to do it fast. And we need to do it because we know how high the stakes are from the oncoming climate catastrophe, but also because we know how big the benefits are when it comes to economic development, whether we're talking about energy security, whether we're talking about reducing our energy costs. Getting to scale in energy diversification is critical. And I think that expanding our virtual net metering policy to make sure that more Rhode Islanders can participate, to make sure that different kinds of Rhode Island entities can participate, is really, really a critical part of our toolkit. And so I hope that you can sort of add your voices to the calls for us to do that, for us to aim high in that expansion. We should not be putting a 10 megawatt cap onto that policy, as has been suggested by some. We should be aiming high because we don't have time to wait. So I thank you again for all the work that you do. I'm hopeful that we can continue moving the needle. We know how fast and how far that needle needs to move. We need to get that sense of urgency. I know that you have it. We need it in this building, and the only way we're going to get it is for us to continue working together and pushing. So thank you.